This is a raw life, could only lead to no life. This is a raw life, could only lead to no life.
Let me break it down. Hustling on the street corners, late nights, always on edge. No one really cares about you. Fake friends, fake people all around you.
Let's get into the first segment. The first segment is going to be a segment called The Voice Note. Now, the voice note is where we get you guys to send in your voice notes on Instagram. So go to our Instagram page, the TheC1Sho, and send in questions on the voice note. Now, any generics and just the normal questions that we're getting asked all the time, you're going to get mixed up with all those same questions. Send something original, send something different, and I'm going to try to answer the questions. Now, I did tell the team, right? I told the team, let me see them from before, but they're like, no, we just want to just give it to you and let's see you do your thing. So I think they believe in me that I will answer questions. So yeah, let's fire away. First question.
What's your take on the grime scene? Do you feel like they were chiefy back in the day? Feel like they were rude boys? And what do you think of grime?
Yeah, I hear it too. So the first question is about grime. The UK genre of music of grime, birthed from garage music birthed from jungle. What's my opinion? People are saying that, you know, where grime started, they're saying that the MCs in grime, they're chiefs, they're dickheads, they're idiots, they're not from the streets. Truthfully, I totally disagree. And the reason why I disagree is because I was there. I was there in the field with these guys. And if you check it, grime is like the dancehall of the UK. And the reason why I say that, this is why I'm saying that, is because that same dancehall energy with the clashing, with the raw vocals on the microphone, going on the stage and giving it to no studio gangstering, just straight vocals and energy. Now, some people would never understand it because they wasn't there. You had to be there when grime was getting, not the grime that you see now, I'm talking about the grime that was getting built when these kids were in their bedrooms using Fruity Loop or whatever they was using, okay? And they was building our UK genre. So if you're not from the UK, look into grime. It's a genre, just like you guys had hip hop, just like there's drum and bass, house music. We had a thing called grime. So grime music was energy. So for me, do I think that grime MCs were dickheads or were chiefs? No, I don't. And this is the reason why also, is because when you're making a genre of music, for us personally, when you're from the streets, you want music that you can relate to. We don't really care if the guy that's making the music, well, you shouldn't really care if the guys that were making the music, are they really gangster? Because this is where music has gone wrong. Even hip hop music, it's gone wrong in the United States, because before, when we was listening to Nas and all these people, we wasn't caring if they was real. They were just poets. They were poets that was painting pictures with pens, okay? Now, I wouldn't say that the grime guys are painting pictures with pens, but they're painting energy that we can relate to. And when I say that, it's because when you had garage music, like I Bring You Flowers, I bring up all the MCs from the garage scene, we're all family. Yeah, we've done a lot with all of them guys, man. Salute to every one of you garage guys. Big up Mikey back to 95. But grime was birthed from there. So when it comes to the garage MCs, garage music was playing, and you had I Bring You Flowers and all these soft records, that things were still going down. So we never really had much to relate to, okay? But we still loved it. We still loved the genres. We still was in there. We're still in the garage raves. And then for me, you had the Heartless Crews. Yes, of course, I came from the Heartless Crew. I came from So Solid, but this is before that, before that. And then it wasn't grime then, it was the ending of garage, okay? At the end of garage, and then Page You Go came. And to me, that's when I first heard them records like No We Serious. To me, that was when us, from where we came from, our fortunate backgrounds with the way we was living our life, okay? It then allowed us to have something that represented us. See, that's where people get wrong. It's not about if they were tough guys or not tough. It's about the representation. They gave us a representation. Now, were they street? 100%. I believe all of them were streets. The things I saw the grime guys go through, you had to be street. the situations that they was on, we would all be in Bristol, and the MCs would be the people would be trying to pressure the MCs, and they're not having it. Wiley, Kano, DEE, Dizzy, all of them. We can go forever about the MCs, okay? And they're not having it. You think Wiley has a slice in his face, and that isn't street. That isn't from the streets. Remember, there's two sides of the streets. You have the streets where that's where you come from, and that's where you might do certain little things, and then there's the streets that are criminals. You don't have to be a criminal. You can come from the streets and still be an MC, still have a job, still have these things. You can come from the streets and you're a criminal. That's criminal activity. You're just a criminal. So then you go under the banners of, we're talking about guns. We can say that. No. Was they that? No. But was they a part of that world? Was their life in danger just like a street person was? Of course it was, because they was going to dangerous places. So when I say you had to feel the energy, so let's just go back, for instance, when we was going Sidewinder. When you was going to a place like Sidewinder, even as an MC or as a raver, dangerous. So, we used to go there 20, 30 man deep, back to back, 30, 40, 20 something cars back to back, Link the Manchester man them in there, Gooch, link the Birmingham man, the Johnnies, you got the Leicester man, them, big up the Leicester man, them, Nottingham man, them, my guys, Cov man, them, all the guys, we know, that's where we all know we's all outside. You know what I'm saying? Who weren't there, big up the usual suspects, the original Ratu, Bora, those man, them, we was all up in there. And it was just nothing but energy. So when those lyrics were getting said on the stage, Dizzy Rascal was coming, check one, check two, guns in the air, feds in the case, but we don't care, rifle, Uzi, hey, just stop it there. That was it. That was our life. So things are busting off in there. It shouldn't be, but it is. So I don't agree that these guys were dickheads. When we was in Iron Upper, we had people like Skepta. Skepta comes from the roads. He's from my ends. He's from Tottenham. Big up Skepta. So Skepta was a DJ these times, and he used to come to him, go, RC, he'd be like, I see, can I MC, not can I MC, he was a DJ, so can I play tonight in Insomnia? I'd be like, yeah, go and get your records. He'd come back with his records and go on there and do his thing. The same Kano's in a place, DEE. When he used to go on the mic, they used to mash up the place. Nasty Crew weren't even that big then. Big up Marcus Nasty as well, because he was moving like Suge Knight in the grime act. Don't act like he wasn't in the grime scene, because he was. Obviously not for us, but there was always love between us all. So I really liked grime. And you had, Hitman Hyper with those lyrics that he had. And if you really check it, we knew that certain of them wasn't from that, but it just gave us that energy. When Tinchy Strider was talking about things in boots, we knew he never had no thing in the boot, but certain man did. So they related to that. So you got to give maximum respect to grime, because how it was made in their bedrooms, and these young black kids took it to the next level. Dizzy Rascal, you're my guy. There's a lot of things to clear up in regards to Dizzy Rascal, but there ain't nothing bigger than Dizzy Rascal. He formed a lot of them gunman, bad man lyrics. And then you got to give it to Crazy Titch as well. Was Crazy Titch an idiot? Of course he wasn't. I liked Crazy Titch. I remember when New Star was #1 on Channel U charts for 4 or 5 weeks, which people don't want to talk about, or they want to take us out documentaries because they know the facts. Don't want to give us too much, light, which is fine. Crazy Titch knocked us off with a sing-along. I remember. It was worthy of it because no one else could knock us off. And at that time, grime was still big. And we was compete with grimes like as UK hip-hop. Mad. Yeah, I know. But they don't talk about that, do they? But we will. Don't worry. We're going to go through all these stages. We're going to go through all these things. Now I'm out here. So I remember getting in contact with Crazy Titch, which I already knew because I knew about his energy when he was on stage. Him, Gets, all of them, Boys in the Hood, Dirty Goods, all of them, man, there. Do you know what I mean? As I said, we was there when all this was getting built up, and where we was in the clubs, the raves, wherever they was good, because everybody was trying to test them. And that's the thing about our country and where we come from. When guys are doing good, instead of us all getting behind the MCs or behind the rap guys, we used to want to tear them down. Do you know what I mean? We used to want to try and rob them, or think you could rob them, like we're so solid on certain other people, which they couldn't rob them, but they wanted to. So yeah, back to the story of Crazy Titch. So he knocked us off the spot, and I was like, I like Titch's energy. He was doing the DVDs. He was doing kind of like this trolling prank type stuff as well from early. Titch was very early. So obviously I saw the vision, knowing me, I'm someone that if you don't know, signed Young Spray, took him right to the top also, but we're going to talk about that as well. Saw his talent. He's a real one, and he always has been, and that's why he's still #1 right now. So I spoke with Crazy Titch, and I remember I came to Stratford. We were somewhere around Stratford. He jumped in the whip, and we was talking. I said, look, I want to sign you. I want to, what are you saying? What would the deal be? So we went back and forth a little bit on the deal, and I wanted to give him 70K. 70K at the time was big. And Titch was like, nah, G. I want at least 100 because Dizzy got this man got this. I don't know, was Dizzy that? Yeah. So I want at least 100. So we end up going back and forth and boom, done deal, 100. But couple weeks later, before we got to contract stages, Crazy Titch got nicked. Unfortunately, for, as we all know, what he's in jail for right now, which is an unfortunate situation because he's an innocent man. And Titch along that journey has bumped into lots of shower man along the way in the jail system. And every time they say, yo, Titch is here, and he tells that same story about me trying to sign him. And I always say, make sure he's good. And they're like, he's good anyway. But yeah, big up Titch, man. As I said, he's in there for an unfortunate situation. So yeah, that's my long answer to the question about grime. I just feel that it's totally opposite because I was there, and you will never understand grime if you're just listening to it on a CD. You wouldn't understand grime if you're listening to it on the radio. You would have had to been there when it was getting built, or you have to go and watch this thing live. And that's why I was talking about grime also. I want to big up my little guy Chip as well, because he's done so much even now for the grime scene as grime scene savior. And he went through a lot when he was coming up. And sometimes I hear these little comments about, certain bigger man then from my ends, and he did this with him, and my man was trying to extort him, and he was trying to get, nobody could extort Chip in our ends. Nobody, that's all a lie. Nothing like this happened with Chipmunk. Nobody from our ends or was older than us. Yeah, he had little situations with guys his age, but there was never him telling or saying anything on anyone in regards to what was happening or anyone trying to extort him. It would never happen. It's just a foul, dirty rumor, and we don't care, okay? He's getting his money. He don't give a damn. None of us give a damn about rumors and rubbish. So just dash that out of the way, because in my ends where we come from, right? We only champion the youths, because I'm from an era where if this guy played football and he tried to be bad, we're gonna box him and tell him, don't be bad, concentrate on football. If this guy wanted to be something else, we would give him extra money to help him. Nowadays, but we're going to work on it. We're going to work on setting platforms, and we're going to work on trying to push the youth in a different direction. So that's my answer to grime. I don't believe that any of those MCs were idiots. I don't believe that any of those MCs were chiefs. I don't think it was a dickhead genre. I think that the genre that was built needs to have more respect on it. And by the way, guys, just for all the guys, oh yeah, big up Millie Major, big him up as well. Also, I'm a shareholder in a nightclub. This nightclub holds around 4,000 people. We've got 2 arenas in there, 3 arenas. We have an outside space, outdoor space. Guys, anyone from the grime scene that, has these events, have these brands, and you guys need a venue, holler at me. Hit up the page, hit me up personally, let me know your plans. I'll give you a good deal. We can split the bar, let's break some bread. That's the best I can do. So yeah, get in contact with me about this. So yeah, that's my answer about grime. Long-winded, but I hope you liked it. If you want to hear more about the grime scene and about when we was in Sidewinder and when we was in Coliseum, because I still have to go through the garage, and garage is crazy. We still have to go through the garage scene, big up all the garage MCs. Again, we've got a lot of history. Coliseum, Camden Palais, I can go on forever. Temple, but this we're gonna answer these type of questions on the show. And if you want to hear more about the subject that you're interested in and you want me to comment on them, as I said, this is called the voice note. Send in your voice note and we get it done. Peace to you with that one.